easy to talk to and was pretty considerate. She knew of all the girls who had been charmed by him, and he was the kind to faithfully carry out his duties despite the many women who approached him. The boy in the woods was always someone worth tutoring. However, thinking about how those relationships getting even more complicated than they already were made the headmaid's head hurt. She grabbed the door handle, sure that the young Master Ed would not know the young lady's real identity, and as she stepped in, the headmaid heard our dude say that he knew it. It was her after all, just as he had suspected. The MC was wrapped up in thick bandages, and in the corner, the saintess was serving some punishment with a chair on her shoulders as she cried. It was not at all the night that the headmaid had expected to see, and she was alarmed. Then, she hesitantly asked the young Master Ed for an explanation of the weird scene that she had just walked in on. Finally, some time passed and the headmaid had gotten her explanation. However, if she did not take Miss Kylie back soon, the snowstorm would become too intense for them to make it through. Our guy completely understood, and he was sure that it was not a good idea for someone of the headmaid's position to leave Awfully's hall unattended for so long either. The maid agreed with his statement, and the saintess remained ignored in her little corner. The reason that the saintess had come all the way there, the MC could guess it, but he was still rather displeased with her. The girl had done her best to hide her secret identity, but it was rather unnatural, and her identity was not supposed to be revealed until much later on. It should not be getting revealed now, but the saintess was clearly doubting it now. So, he apologized for his rude behavior, and he asked the saintess to kindly put the chair down. The girl sighed in relief and she placed the chair down. Then the maid and the little Kylie exploded in shock and horror when they found that our dude knew that she was the saintess. They were shocked that he already knew, and our guy just pointed out that he had been baptized a follower of the Telos order. After all, it only made sense that he would be able to recognize her from close up when the spell was undone. Then, our dude gently encouraged the terrified saintess to kindly put the chair on first so that they could have a civilized discussion about the issue. The girl agreed hesitantly, and the MC reminded himself that he had not changed his plans and he would not change his plans. He refused to get involved with any of the main characters of the scenario, but at this rate, with the saintess blasting him from fear, she might end up doing something unexpected. So, it was just better to let her know that he indeed knew who she was so that she would stop being anxious around him. Ed groaned that hiding her identity and coming to this place must mean that she was tired of her life of restraint. He understood that much and the little Kylie was hesitant on how to respond. However, our dude added and then asked the saintess what she thought of his life, seeing him live freely in the forest. He asked if she could guess what kind of life that he was living. The MC's life was not a life of freedom, and the saintess only realized that as she looked around the cabin, realizing that he was just surviving. There was a light and dark side to everything. Freedom was no different. If the Lady Adele was a romantic who loved the beauty of freedom, then this man before them was different. Ed apologized for doing something like this to her when she was the saintess. The Mick represented the dark side of freedom. He bowed, apologizing for overstepping his bounds because he had thought that there would not be anyone near her who would tell her this kind of thing. Now, he then asked the little Kylie to please leave as he stood to his feet. The little saintess hung her head in shame and apologized to the maid for making her walk all the way to the cabin in the woods. The maid says that she is just carrying out her duties and that she should not concern herself. Once they returned to the Ophilis hall, then the young saintess would enjoy a delicious soup in a warm room, and this hut in the snowstorm would feel like a distant dream. However, inside that hut was the MC, who stepped out all dressed and covered in his warm clothes to resume his study. The hit would still smell of blood and the harshness of reality. The saintess had never imagined that the man who stood there halting the incoming students would be living that kind of life. Now, she thought of the romance that she had dreamt of. It was a sad thing for someone to destroy your dream of freedom, but the saintess was certain that coming to the school to search for freedom was a good thing, and then she blushed because she hadn't met someone that she could respect. As they left with the fireball lighting the way, the headmaid silently took note of the blushing girl.